As you design your poster, probably the hardest part is just coming up with a good idea in the first place. Here I am in my Pinterest account, and this is where I save ideas, visual ideas, when I need a little boost to creativity. And so you're welcome to come in and take a peek at what I've gathered together. My Pinterest account is nmsmith497. I have several boards that may be of help to you. One of them has to do with alignments and grids. And so you can see different ways that things can be laid out and find a pleasing design of your own. Another area that I have is one called Design Print Ideas, and since we're doing print, you can take a look here and find ideas that maybe would work for you. So for example, on 11 by 17 poster, could you do 4 photos across the poster and then make your points down below? That might be one way to do it, or maybe have your photos over here or your photos over here and your text on this side. Look at how it's divided into sections. With the skills that you've learned so far, I am not expecting you to do some of the more advanced Photoshop types of things, but I think we could do quite a bit with what we've learned so far. So get an idea and then go with it. I think I'll try this one right here. So in Photoshop, the first thing that I need to do is set up my design. All right. So I'm going to do File, New, and mine is going to be 17 inches wide by 11 inches tall by 300 dots per inch. And I'll use a white background and say OK. So here's my design. Now what I wanted to do was to kind of do 4 images across there. And so I'm going to come into the View menu and I'm going to say I'd like a new guide layout, and I'd like 4 guides with no gutter in between. Now the gutter is like if you were laying out text or something like that, but I just want 4 nice equal divisions, and so I'm going to click OK. And here in the View menu, I can show my rulers. Command R is the shortcut. And so with the rulers showing, you can drag a guide out from the rulers. So I'm going to drag a guide out here where I want a big bold title to bring them in. And then I'm going to have my points down here below, and this will be the area for my photos. And so what I can do now is to grab my marquee tool right here, rectangular marquee tool. I want to do a new layer, and I'll double click on this and say photo column 1, and I'm just going to make a selection. You see how it kind of wants to stick to those guides when you do that? And I'm just going to pick kind of a medium gray and come up into the edit menu and say fill that with the foreground color. So that's where my first one goes. All right. Now I can duplicate this layer, or I can create a new one. Let me do it this way. Let's create a new one. And I can grab my marquee tool. I see I've got my marching ants still. So I'm going to deselect those by going into the select menu, or press Command D. And I am going to do the same thing. Fill it. Photo column 2. You may wonder why I'm taking so much time to do this. It's worth the time. And so quickly, this time I'm just going to duplicate that layer. I'm going to grab my move tool, hold my shift key down so it doesn't go anywhere, and then we'll name this photo column 3. And one more time, duplicate, hold my shift key down, move it over, photo column 4. Okay, and it looks like I need to just touch that a little bit. Now I have my layout done. I can start putting in the actual contents of the thing. So over here I have kind of decided on the text that I would like to use, and so I'm going to just refer to that. So up here I'm going to put my big bold title. All right, build an electric car. Now I don't need these grid lines anymore, so I can come in and I can say clear the guides, or I can say right here turn off the extras, and that will turn off the guides. The shortcut for that is Command H on a Mac or Control H on a PC, and they just turn it on or off. All right. So I'm going to go over into Bridge and figure out which is the first picture that I would like to have. And I think I'll start with that one. So I'll double click on it. It's going to open up in Camera Raw, and I will adjust it in Camera Raw just to make sure that everything looks nice and sharp and clear. I'm not going to spend time in this video doing it, but you ought to do it. Whoops. You ought to do it as part of this assignment. You've learned a lot about Camera Raw. We need to make that picture look just as nice and sharp and clear as possible. So once I open up that image, there it is, I can select all of it and copy it and go back into this one and decide which panel I want it in. And so over here I'm going to put it into this panel. Alright, now listen carefully. Here's what I do. I'm going to hold my Command or Control key down, Command on a Mac, Control on a PC. I'm going to click on this little thumbnail view, and you'll notice that that has selected that first photo column. Alright, and then I'm going to go into Edit, Paste Special, Paste Into, and that photo has been pasted into that section. Now you'll notice that over here there's the photo and there's the mask. Alright, and the mask and the photo are not connected to each other right now. If I click in between, then they are locked together, but we want them unlocked right now. And here's what we need to do. We need to get our move tool and move it where we want to do. Now if we need to resize it, then we come into the edit menu and we say we want to do a free transform, and that puts a transformation box around it. Now if I press Command 0, Control 0 on a PC, that will zoom out so I can see all the handles. And if I hold my Shift key down, I can resize that image and also position it inside. And then all I have to do is click this check mark up here, and that sets it into place. Isn't that awesome? Alright, so Command 0 again makes it fill the screen. So there's my first image. And I'm going to do the same with the rest of them. Same procedure. Okay, I need to do my text now for the poster. And I need to decide my fonts. So one way that I do that is if I just click here and type something and then go ahead and hit the check mark, but make sure that my text layer is still highlighted. I can come in here, and as I scroll over in Photoshop CC, I can take a look at the different nice big bold fonts and choose one. That looks good to me. I think I'll choose that one. Alright, so now that I have my font choice, I'm just going to delete that layer by pressing the delete key. And right here, you'll notice that that text cursor has a little crossbeam toward the bottom of it. That is the point where you start drawing a box. So I'm going to put that crossbeam kind of right there. And if I didn't place it quite correctly, I can hold my space bar down and move it, and then when I let my space bar go, I can continue selecting the area where I want the text to go. Now I think I'll have this centered text, and build an electric car. and I'll click on the check mark. Now, if it doesn't quite look centered the way I want it, I can grab my move tool and then just use my arrows to kind of place it in so it looks visually good. All right. So now I need to choose the font. I'm going to grab my text tool again. I need to choose the font and style for my subpoints here. All right, and I'll hit the check mark. And I'll change its size. Now, once I have that set, I can do a concordant, which means use the same font family. So if I choose regular, that will work well because they're all in the same font family. Or I can choose a contrasting font. Since this font is a sans serif font, I could choose a serif font. I think for this one though, I will go with the same family. All right, so now that I have that set, I can delete that layer, and I am going to come over here and draw my text box. And it looks like it jumped back to choose demi-bold and take it down to, let's say 30 points in size. Okay, so now I can go in and add my text. So the first one, let's see, participate, let's see, just have fun, work with teams. You can join us right here in the school. I think that will be my first one. So here we go. And it was too big, so I'm going to press the check mark, and we'll take it down to 24 points. All right. Now, probably the easiest way to do this is to duplicate this layer by dragging it down onto the Create New Layer icon. So that's given us a duplicate. Get my Move tool, hold my Shift key down so it'll move exactly in a straight line to the right. I'm going to duplicate that one and move its text over, and I will duplicate that one and move its text over. What happened there? Well, I started dragging down instead of up, so it was trying to move it straight down. Okay, other points I want to make. that anymore. Other points I want to make is learn important engineering skills. So I'll grab my text tool and just highlight all that text. And if it hyphenates on you, you can just hit return and drop that to the line just underneath. Or can you get it to go on one charge? Okay, so now my poster's done. If I press the F key for the screen mode, I can press Command R to get rid of the rulers, Command 0 to make it fill up the screen, and see how I've done. So that's basically the process of making this. So all you need to do now is save this as a Photoshop file. And so you'll come in here and say Save As. You'll make sure that it says Photoshop down here. And then you'll call this B04-your name.psd and then send that to me through the big file transfer. Thank you. I hope this has helped. We'll look forward to seeing